tonight.
NTA International News.
China to partner Nigeria to boost ICT and internet broadband service in the country. Federal government reiterates resolve to support the police to counter criminality and terrorism. Plus, stakeholders advocate comprehensive reform of electoral process to advance democracy in Nigeria as Transition Monitoring Group presents final report on 2015 general election. Thanks for joining us on NTA International News, reaching you live from Abuja, the nation's capital city. I am Ronke Kolawole. The fourth Nuclear Security Summit being hosted by President Barack Obama continues in Washington, D.C. In Nigeria's country statement, President Muhammadu Buhari Friday reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the global fight against the threat of nuclear terrorism and other forms of crimes. The president also pledged Nigeria's continued support for all multilateral efforts aimed at promoting a common approach and commitment to nuclear security at the highest levels, including strengthening the legal framework for fighting terrorism. President Buhari told the gathering that to enhance nuclear security, Nigeria has reinforced its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, the United States Department of State Partnership for Nuclear Security, and the World Institute for Nuclear Security. Nigeria, he said, has also signed an agreement of cooperation with the United States Department of Energy's Office of Radiological Security to protect nuclear and other radiological materials from theft or sabotage. President Buhari also said that Nigeria has developed a program to ensure that radioactive sources in the country are better secured to prevent unauthorized access by terrorists and criminals. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says the president praised President Obama's pace-setting initiative and drive, which is said has brought the global fight against the threat of nuclear terrorism to its present level. In the meantime, Nigeria will partner with China's telecommunications giant, China Telecom, to boost the ICT and internet broadband service in Nigeria. At a meeting with China Telecom officials in Beijing, the Minister of Communications, Adebayo Shitu, assured the Chinese company of the full support of the Nigerian government if they accept the challenge of bringing the ICT benefits the Chinese people have been enjoying to Nigeria. Juliet Aino, here's that report.
Determined to increase the broadband internet connectivity in Nigeria and improve the inequality of ICT service, Minister of Communications Adebayo Shitu made the long trip to seek the support of her time-honored friend. The largest fixed line service and third largest mobile telecommunication provider in the People's Republic of China, China Telecom provides broadband internet to over 138 million subscribers and 62% of all China's internet bandwidth. Impressed by its scale of service and comprehensive package, the minister pressed to get a firm commitment so Nigerians can share the success story.
In the area of smart cities, in the area of e-governance, in the area of e-agriculture, in the area of e-commerce, in the area of even e-homes, they have really made very giant strides. And I wish that Nigeria is able to key into some of this.
With one of its holding companies already in Nigeria in partnership with a local partner, China Telecom plans to establish Nigeria as a telecom harbor of West Africa when all the rules have been put in motion.
I can assure you that with the enthusiasm of the present government, trying to see that certain basic necessities of life are given to us as at Rongi, we are very sure that it's not going to be much of a problem to get this project rolling. And
the Executive Vice President China Telecom Sun Kongmin revealed that with support from African governments, they are already building an information superhighway across the African continent. This the minister agreed Nigeria needs to tap into.
We want them, for instance, to come and invest heavily in the area of, fiber optics laying. Nigeria currently has less than 10%, in terms of connectivity. With a population of 180 million, we think that 10% is certainly the most uncharitable, percentage for Nigeria to be, particularly year 2016.
The minister on the spot nominated 5 officials from the Nigerian side to work with China Telecom to facilitate the project in the shortest possible time. From Beijing, China, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
The federal government has reiterated its resolve to give necessary support to the police force to counter criminalities and stem the wave of terrorism in the country. President Buhari, represented by the Minister of Interior, Major General Abdurrahman Dambazo, gave this assurance at the grand finale of the 2016 Police Week in Abuja. Bonaventure Unwodo reports.
The president said no police service in the world, no matter how well motivated, equipped or trained, can successfully operate without acceptance and support of the citizens.
Effective policing of a community is dependent on the level of security consciousness of the citizens and the strength of the synergy that exists between the policing agencies and the community.
In tandem with the President, Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase says the essence of the police work is to remember its history as well as an opportunity for the force to reconnect with the people for more effective policing.
The essence is to remind police officers that they are on their knowledge to which they shall come with the people who were trained and directed to serve the executive.
The 2016 Police Week was the second in the past 30 years.
There can't be continuous operations without having a period of relaxation and exchange of ideas and reviewing of what we have done before.
You need to keep showcasing your talents, what you have, the wherewithal, the equipment your employers have given you.
The occasion attracted other service chiefs, traditional rulers, and people across all walks of life. In Abuja, Bonaventure Wood, NTA News.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, says the Nigerian Air Force is adopting new strategies in its joint operations to combat insurgency. Air Marshal Abubakar said this during a familiarization tour of the Air Force Comprehensive School, Uyo, in Akwa Ibom State. Clement Barikwi reports.
The visit of the Chief of Air Staff to Air Force Comprehensive School, Uyo, was part of effort to reposition institutions and formations of the Nigerian Air Force for optimum productivity. Addressing officers and staff of the institution, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar congratulated management of the Air Force Comprehensive School, Uyo, for the academic achievement recorded by the institution. On the ongoing fight against insurgency in the country, the Chief of Air Staff maintained that the Air Force will continue to provide air support for the Army and other security agencies.
We have been supporting and coordinating our operations with the Army. It's a joint effort. We usually soften the ground, after which the Army moves in. So ours is to create the enabling environment for the surface forces to function, and that is exactly what we have been doing.
Commandant Air Force Comprehensive School Uyo Nasiru Danjuma noted that incessant flooding remains one of the greatest challenges of the school.
So the medical center needs to be expanded to create wards enough to accommodate officers, airmen, and their families.
Air Force Comprehensive School Uyo has graduated 13 sets of students since inception in 1999. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
In order to deepen Nigeria's democracy, there is an urgent need for a comprehensive reform of the electoral process, particularly with the use of card reader. This was among the submissions by stakeholders at the public presentation of the Quick Count Final Report on the 2015 Presidential and National Assembly elections organized by the Transition Monitoring Group, TMG, as reported by Joseph Johnson.
The 2015 general elections have come and gone, with the drama, intrigues, tensions and uncertainty that enveloped the atmosphere gradually disappearing. But to further put the records straight and perhaps clear lingering issues, if any, regarding the 2015 presidential and National Assembly elections, the Transition Monitoring Group TMG's report contains statistical information and vital details relating to the voting process.
Nigerians must collectively address the fundamental issues which cause the equation of the elections to moments of national crisis capable of sending the nation as a corporate entity go into extinction.
Papers presented and representatives from key sectors of the economy in their goodwill messages lauded the initiative, stressing that it offered a scientific basis for making conclusions about the realities of elections.
Citizens and domestic actors must take a lead in the process of election observation.
The Quick Count Final Report for the historic 2015 presidential and National Assembly election is a testimonial to the triumph of team spirit and of course a call on Nigerians to look beyond the current challenges facing the nation and congratulate themselves for the feat of being able to showcase the supremacy of their votes. In Abuja, I'm Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
In a related development, the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting the cause of all political parties with a view to promoting democracy in Nigeria. The Director of News, NTA, Aliyu Baba Barau, stated this while receiving a delegation from the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, on behalf of the acting DG, Mr. Philip Ofegbu.
When you have divergent views and interests, which democracy is well known for actually, you tend to have a great deal of challenges in order to project the interest of the individual parties, individual political elites and what have you. But so far so good, you've been able to manage the situation very well. And NTA will continue to partner with you in order to have true representative democracy that will usher in functional development of the people.
The chairman of IPAC, Bashir Yusuf Ibrahim, stressed that the organization mandate is to bring political parties together to regulate and conduct themselves to ensure sustainability of Nigeria's democracy.
Targets and benchmarks for improving this system, which will be reviewed every year.
The head of the civil service of the Federation, Winifred Oyeta, says civil servants have a great role to play for the success of the anti-corruption fight by the federal government. She made this known to Adebola Brooksley Sunday while speaking on the federal government integrated staff housing program for civil servants.
Research has it that the Nigerian housing deficit is currently put at over 15 million units, requiring an average of 45 trillion naira to surmount. It is also on record that about 80% of over 1 million civil servants do not have a house of their own.
Some of the things that make people so anxious about the future that they are now forced to do things that they should not get engaged into.
Mrs. Oyoita traced corruption among civil servants, mainly to the quest to own a home.
When you look at it, a man that has no home and he's going to retire, he's going to be thinking of any ways and means to get money to have a retirement home. And that is why we have revisited the FISH program, the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program, knowing that it is something that will give them a future,
a home in their retirement.
The head of service urged every civil servant to view himself as the EPIC civil servants, an acronym for efficient, productive, incorruptible, and citizen-centered. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
This is news on NTA International, Abuja, Nigeria. More reports after the break. Stay with us.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Glad to know you're still watching the news. And back to our earlier story on the 4th Nuclear Security Summit being hosted by President Barack Obama as it continues in Washington, D.C. In Nigeria's country statement, President Muhammadu Buhari Friday reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the global fight against the threat of nuclear terrorism and other forms of crimes. The president also pledged Nigeria's continued support for all multilateral efforts aimed at promoting a common approach and commitment to nuclear security at the highest levels, including strengthening the legal framework for fighting terrorism. President Buhari told the gathering that to enhance nuclear security, Nigeria has reinforced its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, the United States Department of State Partnership for Nuclear Security, and the World Institute for Nuclear Security. Nigeria, it said, has also signed an agreement of cooperation with the United States Department of Energy's Office of Radiological Security to protect nuclear and other radiological materials from theft or sabotage. President Buhari also said that Nigeria has developed a program to ensure that all radioactive sources in the country are better secured to prevent unauthorized access by terrorists and criminals. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says the president praised President Obama's pace-setting initiative and drive, which he said has brought the global fight against the threat of nuclear terrorism to its present level. The need to redirect attention on the plight of women and children's death from preventable diseases, despite proven public health interventions, is the thrust of conversation by representatives from various health entities in Abuja. The event was put together by the Management Science of Health. Health correspondent Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju has more.
The conversation is to brainstorm on how to improve the health and lives of Nigerian women and children, and by extension put an end to about 150 women and 2,300 children deaths daily due to preventable causes. Universal health coverage, implementation of the National Health Act are some of the issues deliberated on. Management Science for Health said they are ready to save lives by closing the gap between knowledge and action in public health.
MSC supports universal health coverage because we believe that the most vulnerable are the biggest beneficiaries. Therefore, we applaud the bold steps that the Nigerian government has taken towards achieving universal health coverage.
Discussants also dwelt on how to ensure harmonious partnership between federal government, the vibrant private sector, and the donor agencies, civil society organization for a strong and sustainable health sector in Abuja. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, NTA News.
And still talking health, nephrologists and endocrinologists have called for caution in the indiscriminate consumption of analgesic and herbal preparations to avoid having kidney diseases. Experts on Good Morning Nigeria noted this among other risks. As other risk factors of the disease, Amina Nojim monitored the program and now reports.
According to statistics by the Nigerian Association of Nephrology, about 36.8 million or 23% of Nigerians suffer from different stages of kidney disease. It is also reported that about 15,000 new cases are recorded yearly.
Nigerians who are also blacks and other blacks in all parts of the world tend to suffer more kidney disease and more severity. It tends to progress faster than other races.
Guests observed that while certain races like African Americans, Asian Americans and Native Americans are prone to the disease, the challenge is further compounded in developing countries with the adoption of unhealthy lifestyles and inadequate healthcare facilities to cater for kidney patients.
A lot of Nigerians now don't eat as healthy as in the 70s and in the 80s. And so diabetes and hypertension is on the rise.
If you inherit a gene for kidney disease, it may not necessarily germinate in later life. If you adopt preventive strategies with lifestyle, healthy diet, exercise.
If the kidney disease is identified much earlier, then it's much easier for the people who look after me to control it and delay the ultimate progression to end-stage renal failure.
In Abuja, Amina Nushain, NTA News.
With over 70% of the road traffic crashes recorded during the Easter celebrations associated with overspeeding and tire burst, the Federal Road Safety Corps is calling full and urgent control on the importation of tires into the country in order to curtail the importation of substandard tires. Corps Marshal Boboyi Oyeyemi stated this while briefing the media on the Easter operations in Abuja. Aliyu Tekoro reports.
Easter being one of the challenging periods for the FRSC as a result of increase in traffic, especially on highways, the FRSC has put up measures to ensure that travelers get to their destination safely. Giving update on the operation, the Corps Marshal noted that there is significant improvement compared to last year. Within the 6-day operation, 6,223 traffic violators were apprehended, while in 2015, the number was 7,794. The number of road traffic crashes also dropped from 115 to 98, and the number of people who lost their lives also reduced by 9%.
The number of assault on our personnel is increasing. During the Easter patrol, we lost one of our personnel that was knocked down. He's a senior officer and died. The assault on our personnel is increasing, and I'm going to press for maximum charges in respect of this. For the mere fact that we are not bearing arms for now does not mean that the drivers and road users should take liberty to be assaulting our personnel. We are going to work with the Federal Ministry of Justice to press for maximum punishments to get them prosecuted. And we work with the police too so that the criminal charges can be filed against them.
With the support.
On the business scene, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria seeks investors to develop airport facilities. Details of this and more with Olayinka Ojo.
To improve efficiency and render better services to the flying public, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria says it is seeking private investors for the development of infrastructure across the nation's airports. The Managing Director, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Saleh Dunoma, said this at the ongoing Second Airport Business Summit in Abuja, reiterating Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria's willingness to partner genuine investors in a mutually beneficial relationship on airports projects. Mr. Saleh Dunoma added that airport investment principles will focus on delivering excellent customer-centric services. And the International Monetary Fund, IMF, again, cut its growth forecast for Nigeria as the oil exporter faces substantial challenges from low crude prices. In its annual review of Nigeria's economic situation, the IMF said the gross domestic product growth would slow to 2.3% in 2016 from an estimated 2.7% in
had qualified from the official reports I received in Rio. Others are still also qualifying. So before we leave, we may have more numbers than the 54 that was given.